does not love us. Every day the resources are scarcer, the conditions harsher. This is Death World. It does not want us here. The hardest doesn't even react. Now, you're going to lead us to the bowels of the earth to found a kingdom that lasts a millennium, right?
Hey everyone, this is Chris from the X7 team. Welcome to what will be a pretty packed presentation on everything that's been happening in the Land of Locusts. We've got a right melange for you, as someone from each discipline will be giving a quick but thorough update on what they've been working on recently. We hope it gets you excited for the game at least, because when we asked Kuno if he was, he said that he still doesn't fucking care. Oh well, can't please everyone. Anyway, please enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Dora from the X7 writing team, and I'm going to introduce you to our most useful tool. This is the narrative overview. It's a living document that we've been using for around the last 6 months. It helps us plan out our game, including anticipating the total map size, the total number of characters that we're going to need, as well as their expected word counts, some potential downscoping approaches, and it helps us calculate totals such as the number of items and thoughts in the game. For the vertical slice, we're going to be focusing on Act 2. Act 2 is basically where the Kuno and Kuno's journey begins following the murder of Kuno's father. The Act 2 takes place in the Jamrock Central Station, which is a train station where Kuno and Kuno will try to board a train south. The way we use our narrative overview is we summarize each act, including its energy, its emotional tone, the themes, so that the entire team can get on the same page. Then we provide information about the location, such as the Elysium geography and details on the environment that our environment team is going to have to design. We also provide information on the characters, such as the briefs for each individual character and their connections, the network in which they're linked inside this location. We also try to provide plot details, which always evolve as we continue writing, some possible routes through which the player can navigate the area, the tasks they will have to complete, the items they will find, the thoughts they can obtain, and any special instructions that we have for our systems, art, and audio teams. Act 2 is probably one of the most formative acts in the journey of Kuno and Kuno S. And using the information we provided here, our art and audio and animation teams have done amazing jobs, as well as the systems team. And I'm very excited to have them show you how they've interpreted our story, how they're going to bring it to life.
Core to X7 is the player's control of two different player characters, Kuno and Kuno S. One could call it a single-player cooperative game. Generally, the player may need the character to stick together and combine their skills in order to reach their goals. But Kuno and Kuno S might as well, depending on the player choices and resulting narrative events, have a clash of interest and then possibly fight each other to death. When playing X7, the user can switch at any moment between Kuno and Kuno S to control each of them individually. They can do so when navigating in the world, during dialogues, as well as in the menus. Since Kuno and Kuno S don't have the same builds, they don't interpret the world the same way. Therefore, they sometimes see different orbs and interactable. They also both have their personalities, opinions and comments, meaning that they can engage dialogue separately with other NPCs, enabling different interactions and outcomes in dialogue depending on which player character the user is controlling when starting the dialogue. In order to do so, they both have their own felt reel. The user will also be able to switch in felt using dialogue lines. During dialogues, the player will sometimes be able to combine Kuno and Kuno S skills to perform cooperative checks. In X7, Kuno and Kuno S are sharing substances, healing items, clothes, and tools. The inventory is similar to Disco Elysium, but here the player is managing two characters at the same time using a shared inventory. They also often share tasks in the journal, even if the way they complete them could vary depending on which of them is doing it. Even though both Kuno and KunoS have their own separate thoughts, some of the thoughts become available after the other character's thoughts are completed, and that the player unlock them through a dialogue between them, producing recurring discussions and thinking process occurring over the course of the game, creating chains of thoughts that will show the progression of specific topics, reflecting certain aspects of the relationship. Therefore, the thought cabinet is also behaving as a space for the player to witness and shape their relationship. The box of Locust is an item that Kuno carries around with him. He can look into it and see an imaginary world of Locust that reflects his own headspace throughout the game. It helps us get across through allegory the way he is dealing with the journey he is on, and all the emotion that come with it. It plays into the joys and fear of being a kid in a world much larger than you, and no idea how to tackle it. Thoughts and ideas that Kuno may push down, but that come out through his imagination. Kuno cannot talk to the Locust inside the box, but can hear them discussing ideas, and can observe their civilization. While doing this, Kuno will talk with the skill voices in his head about the ideas that come up, all of which can shape the Locust civilization and how it develops. This also creates a great opportunity to bring back political alignment in the title. Kuno can also place items inside the box for the Locust that turn into all kinds of facilities, buildings, and whatever else.
Hello everyone, here's Casper, and I'll take you through the X7 art team's work and process. I'll start with some character art, and then we'll look at environment stuff. So, usually how we start is Anastasia takes a character brief and does a bunch of explorations to try to nail down the character, all the details, and everything that goes into it to make this final concept sketch that Jake then translates into this sick high poly sculpt. Here we have another character from Act 2, Hercule, and all the variations that went into it. This is Beggar King. And here we have our heroes, Kuno and KunoS, the portraits and the various explorations. With the environment, it's very similar. There is a written brief, and then Daria does these variations on the silhouettes, and once we're happy with the overall design, we do some like color variations and start on the 3D block out. This is a test of paint over, more detailed work for 3D modeling, and this is Marx designing a train. Thanks everybody.
On the animation side, we have been developing a set of Blender tools to speed up the rigging process. In this example, the rig was done from scratch in just 14 minutes. Once some character rigs were done, I've put on the motion capture markers and went on to record reference. We brought that capture data to Blender, cleaned it, and exaggerated the motion so that it reads more clearly from the top-down camera view. Here we have the animations that are in the latest build. The basic locomotion set for Kuno, KunoS, and Hercule.
Hey all, I'm Chris from the tech team on X7, and I'm going to take you through a few of the features of the latest build. First we have the interaction system. Interactables can be built from requirements and action components, allowing us a lot of freedom in what we can create. For example, here you can see a simple case where talking to an NPC on the left disables interaction with the NPC in the middle. This example shows an orb triggering an orbital, which in turn can trigger a block. And here we have a trigger zone that shows an orbital when entered. And finally, we have a door that can trigger a location change. Next we have the dual fort cabinet. Kuno and Kuno-S will have their own separate forts, but some may trigger discussions between the two of them, triggering new forts. Here we can see the player picking up some new forts, including the start of one of these chain forts. This fort is internalised, and once completed, triggers a conversation with Kuno-S, where they can discuss the outcome of the fort, which in turn can lead to a new fort for Kuno-S, as we can see here. This fort can then be internalised as well, leading to more forts down the chain. Here we see some skill checks. Kuno and Kuno-S each have a separate set of skills, which can mean, for example, that only one character will see a passive check linked to these skills. Characters can be switched while in dialogue though. And here is some dialogue from Hercule, an NPC you will meet very early on in the game. Here we have an example of the gamepad controls the game currently supports. You can see that you can freely move the characters around with the analog stick, as well as using the right analog stick to select interactables to interact with. And finally, we can quickly show off some of the debugging and editor tools in the game. So examples in the build here are checking the current game state, seeing in NavMesh in game, and also checking the animation values of the characters. This tool is the Fell Viewer, which allows us to grab the latest Fell data directly from the Git repository and hotload it into the game without restarting. We are also adding new tooling to help with content creation, including tools such as this quick view for interaction data.
Hi, Katharina here. I'm the sound designer on X7. You may have noticed some audio during the tech presentation already, and now I want to quickly go over some of the sound features we're working on. As we have two main characters and we switch between them, there's also a difference in what they hear. For example, Kuno carries his box of locusts with him, so you will hear some insects flapping from time to time. The kids also notice different details in the environment. For example, Kuno can hear Remy in the ticket office turn over a page in the book he is secretly reading, while Kuno-S doesn't notice it at all. Another example is the fountain. Kuno-S has a deep connection to water, so wherever she is in the station, she is always aware of it, while Kuno just hears an ordinary fountain. And we have differences in the UI as well. For example, this is the sound for Kuno gaining hype. And this is the one for Kuno-S.
Hey, it's Mikey. I'm gonna let you listen to some early music and voices from X7 now. First we're gonna hear the swarm voices, which is how Kuno hears locusts in his head. Then we've got Kelly, who's Kuno-S's narration and skill voices, and Will is Kuno's narration and skill voices. Then there's music in the background, which I'm developing right now.
Our world does not love us. Every day resources are scarcer. The conditions harsher. This is death world. It does not want us here. The hardest doesn't even react. Now, you're going to lead us to the bowels of the earth to found a kingdom that lasts a millennium, right?
The rain is picking up. Bullets battering the windows like mortar. Rivulets like cracked fingers, picking the gutter pockets, prying open the windows. Did you see that?
This place makes Kuno small, makes Kuno dream small. Who would fuck on the great Kuno? No one, that's who.
Actually, his right eye is cloudy. He might not see out of it that well. We can take him. Look at his disgusting neck. You know he can't even turn to look over his shoulder.
Kuno was gonna live to be 100.